here are the answers to that quiz. So I expect that you did the quiz, and now you're going to grade your own quiz and then send it to me so I can see it, knowing that, of course, here in summer school, your grade is an A no matter what, right? So you get 0 on this or 20 out of 20. You're just seeing for yourself. So there's no sense cheating, obviously. Just tell me and let me see how you are doing with this. So let's do the first one. So let's see if we get the first one correctly. Can you tell me the end behavior? So the limit, and the order doesn't matter here, but I'm going to do the left side of f at x equals. So where's the left side going? And it's going to negative infinity. Where's the right side going? So look at your notation. Is it proper? And did you do it correctly? Boom. Give yourself a check mark if you did it correctly. Here, the end behavior. The limit as x approaches negative infinity of f at x equals. Where's the left end? It's negative infinity. Do it again for the right side. Make sure your notation is correct. Notice both ends, the left and the right, are going down. That your notation matters. So you're writing it correctly with the correct answer. Check mark. 2 out of 2. Number 3. Again, can you write end behavior as a limit? So the left end, as x approaches negative infinity of f at x equals, where's the left end? This one's actually going to a number. So 1, 2, 3, count down. That number is negative 5. And then the right side is going up forever. So that's going to infinity. Give yourself a check mark if you did it correctly. And the most important part is if you didn't, that you're learning from your mistakes. All right, left end behavior, the limit as x approaches negative infinity of f at x. It's pointing up, so it's going to infinity. And then the other side, the limit as x approaches infinity of f at x equals. So the right side is pointing down, so it's going to negative infinity. All right, give yourself a check mark that you know how to write end behavior as a limit. 4 for 4. All right, are you able to use tables or graphs to be able to find limits? So we are going to use graphs, and we're going to use Desmos here. So let's go to Desmos and type this in and see what the answers are. So negative x squared minus 5x subtract 7. And I'm looking as x approaches negative 4. So here's negative 4. So let's just follow along the curve until I get there. It's going to fall down. So follow along, and right there, what's the value of the limit? So I'm trying to hold this steady, right? So the answer is negative 3. Give yourself a check mark if you said negative 3. The next one is 5 to the x plus 1. Nope, 5 to the x plus 2. So 5 to the exponent x plus 2. What's happening as x approaches negative 1? So here's negative 1. So when you hit negative 1, what's the y value there? Right there, 2.2. So off a graph, can you find the limit? In this case, the limit and the function value are exactly the same because it's continuous. So here we are so far. Give yourself a check mark that you did number 5 correctly. Give yourself a check mark that you did number 6 correctly. You could also put the answers here and that you did them both correctly. I don't want to give extras. So far out of 6, you can write down how many you did right. I'm sure it's 6 out of 6. Turn the page. Number 7. So this is all going to be Desmos and then coming back. So let's type it in. So 2 subtract root x. And then in the denominator is x subtract 4. So as x is approaching 4, what's the answer? So notice exactly at 4, it's undefined. But what's the y value that's around it? So if I make the scale a little smaller, especially on the y, so if I make that scale like a quarter or a half, could you see it? And as I zoom in here and press the home button, I'll zoom in here. So again, it says x approaches -4 or +4, right? Yeah. So right here, so it's undefined here, but follow it and the y coordinate from both sides, the answer is -0.25 or -1/4. So did you write down -0.25 or -1/4? That's correct. All right, number 8. X squared subtract 2x. And then x squared plus 6x plus 5. So as x approaches -5, what's the answer here? So let's center this a little bit. So at -5, I want you to notice that on one side it goes up forever, and on the other side it goes down forever at -5. So the answer for number 8 is the limit does not exist because there's an asymptote there at -5. So on one side it goes up, and on the other side it goes down. All right, let's continue. Number 9. Let's see how you did. So for number 9, we have negative in front. And then it's 2x squared plus 6x. And then x squared plus 2x subtract 3. All right. What's the value as x approaches -3? So here's -3 right here. So what's happening at -3? And notice at -3, it's undefined. And I'm going to change the scale. What's the y coordinate there? That's all I care about. So as I zoom in, maybe it'll be more obvious of what's happening at -3. So here at -3, there we are. There's the hole. Go across on the y. Can you see now the answer? It's -1.5. Or -3/2. All right, let's look at number 10. So for number 10, we have x, and then we have 4x plus 12. What's the limit as x approaches -3, but from the right? So if I get a sense here, at -3, there's an asymptote. And then from the right, the answer is -infinity. Or you could have put down does not exist. Both would be correct answers. The next one. So the next one is x plus 1 and then x squared. So what's the limit as x approaches 0? Notice at 0 both ends go up. So that answer is going to be infinity for number 11. Or you could have said does not exist. Both would be the right answer. Number 12. 2x minus 2. And then in the denominator, it's the absolute value of x subtract 1. So what's happening is x approaches 1 from the left. So here's 1, there's a jump. But from the left, what's the y value? So I want you to notice the y coordinate from the left is -2. And that's the answer. From the right, the answer is +2. And if it was a two-sided limit, there'd be does not exist. But this is one-sided, and it's from the, oh sorry, it's a little, yeah, from the left, and the answer is -2. So give yourself a check mark if you said number 12, the answer is -2. Number 13. 2 sine 1 over x. So I want you to notice as at 0 for this one, for number 13, it oscillates up and down around 0. That means for number 13, the limit does not exist. Number 14. So it's cosecant. And then inside the parentheses, it's 2. Another parentheses, x plus pi over 2. And then what's happening at pi? So let me change the scale. So this is pi. So I can see it. And so at positive pi, one side goes up forever, the other side goes down. I'm looking for the right end behavior, so the right side of the limit. And the right side of the limit goes to negative infinity. So number 14, the answer is negative infinity. Number 15, again, a trig function, but just have to read a graph and type it in. So 15 is secant, and it's 2x. And I'm looking at pi over 2. So at pi over 2, I can see it's right here. So at pi over 2, what's the y coordinate? And the answer is negative 1. So the answer to number 15 was negative 1. Let's move on to number 16. That's negative cotangent x minus pi, or x subtract pi. So again, negative cotangent x subtract pi. And as x approaches 0, so look, 0, there's an asymptote. So on the right side it goes down, on the left of 0 goes up. So it's looking for the left end behavior. So the left behavior at 0 is going up. It's going to infinity. Or you can write down does not exist. Anytime the answer is negative infinity or positive infinity, you could also write down does not exist, and it is correct. The next one, number 17, another trig, 1/2 tangent x, and as x approaches pi. So see where pi is. From the left and the right, they agree what the y coordinate is there, and the answer is 0. That's the only correct answer. Number 18, I have piecewise, so I need to type it in 2 boxes. Type it correctly. So I have f at x equals x cubed and plus 9, and that is valid from when x is less than or equal to negative 2. Then I have another one. The second piece is the square root of x plus 3. And that is valid when x is greater than negative 2. So here's my piecewise. I was able to type it in with 2 boxes. And I'm going to change the scale because it's no longer a trig, so I don't really want pi. So I'm going to change this so it's just 1. So I can see it. And then I'll zoom in here. So as x approaches negative 2, so find negative 2 here. What's the limit here? So the truth is, from the right and left, they both agree. And the answer to there is positive 1. So did you write down the answer is positive 1? That is correct. 2 more, number 19 and 20. So again, we have a piecewise, so I'll leave this up here. So f at x equals x subtract 3, and that's valid when x is less than or equal to 1. The second box, I'm going to say f at x equals 2x subtract 6, and that's valid when x is greater than 1. So double check, I typed it in correctly. What's the limit as x approaches 1 for this one? So I press the home button to try to get it centered again. So what's happening at 1? Do you see at 1, and this is not a one-sided limit, that there's a jump at 1? So from the left we have an answer, and from the right we have a different answer. I could zoom in to see what the answer is, but because I see a jump and it's a two-sided limit, I know the answer is does not exist. If it was right-sided or left-sided, that's what I would follow. All right, last one. Again, piecewise. So this is x squared plus 6x plus 9. And that's when x is less than 1. Here on the bottom was negative 2x plus 2. And that's when x is greater than or equal to negative 1. All right. Oh. Is it negative or positive? Oh, so 1's negative. I think there's a typo there. So it's the limit as x approaches negative 1. So give yourself a correct answer no matter what, because it was typed wrong. So you get that one right no matter what. So number 20 is right no matter what answer you put down. But anyways, it should have said negative 1 for all that. There should be no positive 1 there. So when I look at negative 1, what's the limit as x approaches negative 1? So what's the y coordinate right there? Now it's undefined there, but what's the y value there? So at negative 1, let me zoom in. So I want you to see the y coordinate there is 4. So the limit from the left and right, what's the y coordinate? They both are approaching, and they agree, so it doesn't even have to be one-sided, and the answer is 4. So if you corrected the typo, great. And if you got confused and whatever, you still got it right. So can you now add up how many you got correctly? So here are the answers again, from 7 to 20. Everyone you did correctly. There it is. So from 7 to 20. So everyone that you did correctly, check mark, all the way down. This quiz is out of 20. You either got the question right or wrong. And I said 20, I'm giving it to you. It's right no matter what you put down because of the typo. This right here should have said negative 1 right here, but it didn't. Okay, so turn your quiz back to the front page. And on the cover of your quiz right here, obviously your name, but you're going to upload it. Write down out of 20 how much you got so I can see what your score is. All right, good job doing the quiz. I hope you got close to 20 out of 20 or 20 out of 20 and that you're understanding this. Your work is paying off. This is Mr. G Math. I'm proud of you that you're doing your work. And until next time.